welcome kings and queens. Today we are talking Shanquella Robinson, and honey, listen, the FBI has clapped back at Mexico. One thing you cannot do is threaten the good old US of A with a good time, because they will find a technicality, and it looks like they did. In my opinion, neither Mexico nor the US wants to be caught holding the bag in this case. So Mexico threw the first punch, and the FBI has responded. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think there's some twists and turns in this case, but it seems like the FBI is not going to allow Mexico to walk away as if this did not happen on their soil. They are now going, or have decided to go after the doctor, y'all. The U.S., meaning the FBI, have decided to go after the doctor. Let's talk about it. So Mexico messed up when they decided, you know what? Now that we think about it, we don't have enough evidence to prosecute the Cabo Six. You know what? We're going to release video. And not only that, US of A, we're not going to hold our medical provider responsible for any of this, because she only went off of the words of your citizens. Okay? That's basically what Mexico did. You don't want to send them back, then it's your problem, not ours. We're going to absolve any responsibility from our people and let you deal with your people. So the U.S. has clapped back. Now, there's a couple of things here. Y'all know how we do in the palace. We're going to break things down so that we all stay on track. We're going to talk about the villa. We're going to talk about discovery. And what I mean by discovery is discovery by the FBI. And then we're going to talk about the doctor and how and why I feel like the FBI is going after the doctor. Then we're going to wrap this thing up. All right, so let's start with the villa. I've said it before, y'all. When I first heard about this case and I did my research, common sense, right? All it takes is common sense. I said, what the hell? How in the hell did they get to leave the villa? Wait, how did they get to leave Mexico? Wait a minute. How the doctor did what? And the villa called? Well, then wait a minute. What's going on at the villa? If you've traveled anywhere, abroad, Mexico, even locally, think about resorts. Think about hotels. No one is that negligent. Okay? Somebody's going to call the police and be like, hold on, wait a minute. You're not going anywhere. We got to get some authority here. Some authorities in here. Okay. The villa failed to do that before we found out any details. So I'm like, it's something up with that villa. There's definitely something up with that villa. And that villa is key to why the Cabo Six was able to walk away leisurely from Mexico. Now, y'all, if we know that, you better believe the FBI and a good old US of A knows that too. However, you have to say, okay, well, if they know it, why don't they, respond? Well, it gets tricky because the owner of the villa, according to Mexico, now this came from the Mexican information that we receive. He's a very high-powered and very important man. Okay? So you just can't go guns a-blazing to Mexico if and when you know that a huge part of Mexico is run by the cartel. You see what happened when they tried to apprehend, what's that man's son name? I forgot. My brain just went blank. The man's son in Mexico. Did you not see how the cartel responded against the militia? The military militia? Okay, then. So the US of A had their hands tied initially. But just like we dug and did our research, I'm sure they did too. Okay? So this high-powered Very important man that owns not only the villa, but other resorts, construction companies, and real estate. I showed y'all all of it. Okay. And by the way, the video that I showed you was all of his property. I didn't want to say that. I needed y'all to read between the lines. So here we are. 6 African Americans take their behinds to Mexico and commit a crime on this man's property. Do you not think that man needs that shit to go away immediately? And there's your answer for why they were able to walk the hell up out of there. Okay? Because that man don't need nobody blowing his cover for what he has going on, allegedly. All right, let's talk number 2, discovery by the FBI. I see what the FBI is doing. I hope y'all do too. I see what they're doing. They've now, quote unquote, discovered a reason or a technicality to get involved. I'm not going to say they were or were not involved, but I think they had their hands tied with this. Okay? I think this freaking case is so complicated that y'all, the Cabo 6, could have or may have gotten away with this based on whatever happened, right? But I think the U.S. has found a technicality when Mexico opened their mouth and peacocked in front of the U.S. and said, we're not doing nothing to our medical provider. Discovery. A while back, I shared a video that if I was able to find out this much information regarding that villa, key players, then I know darn well the FBI is probably 3 to 4 steps ahead of me. Now, based on rumor, again, from Mexico, there's a high probability, very high, extremely high probability, if you get my drift, that the cartel owns that property. Mexico did not use those words. They said very high-powered man. Now, discovery. Now, if you're a very high-powered individual, you handpick your staff. You handpick your maids. You handpick. And if you don't, your right hand picks for you. That's why Lucy did not call 911. Okay? That's why that doctor got in there and did what she did and knew that she could ask for money. Okay? Because of who runs that villa. So now it has become chess and not checkers to the U.S. The FBI is having to go in, y'all. Go in through the back door on this case. They couldn't come in through the front. The front door is what we saw in the video. Dejanay and the Cabo 6 attacking Shanquella. And even though we did not see the rest of them lay hands, guess who said they did? Nazir said they all fought her. I've shown you that. That came out of his mouth, okay? And just because we didn't see it on tape doesn't mean it did not happen. However, the FBI is probably now well aware that this is cartel territory. So in order to get access or gain access to that villa, they have to go through that back door. And how do you go through a back door? A technicality. Discovery. We've now discovered that your medical provider, who's a hired staff on your villa, did not implement the proper medical procedures and or life-saving techniques that's universal to save any life. Bingo. The U.S. got them, y'all. They got them by a technicality. Now, I still do not think that this is about Shanquella Robinson from the FBI side. I hope it is, but I don't know. Nor from Mexico's side. I would like to give everybody the benefit of the doubt, but at this point, I don't trust either side. Okay? So the FBI has discovered new evidence by way of malpractice. So they're going to go after that doctor, but don't be fooled. If they can get their hands on that doctor, then they can gather more information about what's really going on at that villa. All right, so let's talk about the doctor, and we're going to wrap it up. The FBI needs that doctor to talk. And they don't need the doctor to talk about what happened to Shanquella. Y'all, at this point, we all know what happened to Shanquella. She's not going to bring up some hardcore new evidence because Shanquella, unfortunately, was already gone by the time that lady got there. So it's all smoke and mirrors. I told you, anything that they put in front of you, baby, go underneath it, okay? Check under the hood and kick the tire twice. They're going to bring that doctor in. Probably under the guise of she did not exercise the proper medical procedures in order to save a life. However, like I said, Shanquella was gone. So there's really nothing she could have done. But that's not the point that the FBI is trying to make. That's not the point. We need to get her in. I did an entire video breakdown of the timeline of death based on the video we saw where Dejanay Jackson was attacking Shanquella. The morning that Shanquella Robinson was attacked, October 29th, pull up Google right now, type in, what time did the sun rise in Cabo San Lucas? Y'all, I showed you everything in that previous video. The sun rose at 7:23 a.m. If you go back and look at the video, the sun against the backboard of the bed, okay, the sun was rising. So we know it was after 7:23 a.m. that they entered her room. We just don't know the exact time. So I gave it plus or minus 15 minutes after the sun came up. So that would put us, so I gave it 15 minutes, right? That would put us close to 7:48 a.m. And according to medical experts, Shanquella passed away 15 minutes after the fatal injury. Now, based on the timeline I did, I'm guessing, and I am not an expert, so I could be completely off. I'm not an expert. Let me place that disclaimer out there right now. I am just utilizing my research for teaching moments, and all of this is alleged. But based on my timeline, Shanquella passed between 8:15 a.m. to 9 a.m. that morning. Check this out. I just said the FBI is bringing the doctor in under the guise of a technicality. She did not exercise the proper medical procedures in order to save a life. How can you save a life when there's no longer life? Okay? The doctor did not arrive at the villa until 8 hours later. Shanquella was gone. So what are you prosecuting her on, FBI? You get what I'm saying, y'all? Smoke and mirrors. Hold on. But I'm okay with what they're doing because they got to start somewhere. All right? I just want to make sure we're all on the same page, though. Lucy got there before the doctor did, and Lucy said she got there about noon. So the body had already sat for 3 to 4 hours prior to Lucy arriving to that villa. Okay? So we know beyond a reasonable doubt that Shanquella was gone based on Lucy's testimony that the body was stiff and cold. But that's not what the FBI is after. I think they're after the cartel, and they're going to go after them by way of the doctor. Mexico, you have no one to blame but yourself for being so cavalier in stating that you had no intent to prosecute nor hold that doctor responsible. You should have just shut up and said, you know what, we don't have enough evidence. We hope the U.S. sends them here so that we can talk to them. And hopefully they can, just help us solve the case. But, Mexico always has to do a little bit of extra. So the U.S. has responded. The FBI is making a point. Okay? They're making a point. They're saying, we get it. But what you're not going to do is be sloppy in our faces. That's what you're not going to do. And since you want to be cute, Mexico, we're going to bring your doctor in. I bet that'll get you scared because you don't know what she's going to tell us regarding the operations that are being ran at your villa. Now, check this out. Check this out, y'all. Okay, when this case first came about, Shanquella's mother was doing interviews. Her mother shared that the Cabo Six called her to say that Shanquella had alcohol poisoning. Follow me closely. And the doctor was on the way. They then called her back to say the doctor was there and they needed $5,000, to which the mother replied, Shanquella has insurance. Just take her to the hospital. Follow me. What if this is when the doctor decided to be greedy and actually refused to take Shanquella to the hospital unless she got money? Even though Shanquella was, and that's a technicality. Follow me very closely. I'm going to tell y'all something. That's the technicality that the FBI is using. It's not, she should have, forget all of the CPR stuff, y'all. The technicality is you should have still gotten her to a proper facility. Okay? Now follow this. I've been sick in Mexico before, and the resort sent a doctor. He did require payment. It was only $250. And for any additional services that I thought I would need, he outlined what the prices would be. But it damn sure was not $5,000, okay? And the $250 we did pay, we got reimbursed back by the travel insurance. When you book your trips, you can get travel insurance. So you're going to get all that back. I told y'all on my last video, I think, that I believe the great majority of the Cabo Six was in protective custody. And now I really believe so. Here we go. Okay, Queen Sheba, why do you believe that? Because the FBI feels like they have enough information to go after the doctor. And then, if they have enough information, ask yourselves, where do you think that information is coming from? The FBI wasn't in Mexico. They were at home just like we were. They weren't in that villa when they took Shanquella's life. They don't know what the doctor said and did, and they can't go off of what we're saying on YouTube, okay? They have no access to what was being said or done unless someone who was actually there is giving them play-by-play, baby, of what went down, who said what, how it went down. And based on everything that whoever is sharing, whoever was there sharing, the only thing that they could use as leverage was the doctor. Are you following me? In my opinion, y'all, I've said it since day one. This is way bigger than what we saw in that damn video. Keep following me. How does 6 young African Americans get to leave Mexico after committing such a heinous crime? Walk it back. From the maid coming in, seeing 6 black kids that just committed a crime, right? Still, hold on. Lucy didn't even know what it was. They said alcohol poisoning, and nobody still called 911 under the guise of alcohol poisoning. Y'all, don't let these people play in your faces. This is way bigger than what we think. Way bigger than what we think. Okay? You don't get to commit a murder without any help from the top and walk away from it and get your ass on a plane and fly home and go on social media. Yeah, somebody helped you get out of there. You just don't get to do that. Shanquella's mother said at one point, listen to this. She also said at one point when Khalil called her that the doctor made all of the Cabo Six stand outside the villa. I believe her. I believe Shanquella's mother. Khalil said, we are standing outside and they're working on Quilla. But we know she was gone by then, right? But I still believe they were outside. Now, this is what I think happened. I think she did put them out, the doctor. I believe, this is all alleged, that while they were outside, I think the doctor made that call to you-know-who. That's what I believe. I think the doctor made the call to you-know-who, and he told her what to do and to make their asses leave his property ASAP. And that's exactly what the hell they did.